What if I told you that behind the charm, the fame, and the Hollywood smiles, some of the most beloved black actors had a side you weren't supposed to see? On screen, they played heroes, icons, and legends, but off-screen, their behavior told a very different story. From explosive tempers and cruel outbursts to diva-like demands that pushed people away, these stars gained a reputation no one could ignore. Here are 10 black actors who were called out as the biggest jerks in real life and the shocking stories that earned them that title. 10. Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes was one of the most bankable action stars of the 1990s. But behind the scenes, his reputation for being difficult became almost as famous as his movies. On the set of Blade Trinity, his behavior went beyond normal Hollywood ego. Cast and crew later revealed that Snipes refused to interact with others, often staying in his trailer and only communicating through handwritten notes signed Blade. He reportedly clashed constantly with director David Goyer, at one point even threatening physical violence. His refusal to cooperate made the production a nightmare, and his co-stars, including Ryan Reynolds, hinted at the tense atmosphere that surrounded every scene. But the trouble didn't stop there. Snipes also developed a reputation for being arrogant in interviews and dismissive toward colleagues who challenged him. Off-screen, his refusal to pay taxes led to a high-profile conviction that further damaged his public image. Once celebrated for his talent and screen presence, Snipes became known as an actor whose ego and behavior overshadowed his career. His fall from Hollywood's good graces served as a reminder that even the brightest stars can dim when their off-screen antics dominate the spotlight. 9. Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard is known for powerful performances in films like Hustle, Flow, and for his role on the hit series Empire. But his off-screen behavior has left a trail of controversy. On set, Howard was often described as unpredictable and controlling, with a temper that could erupt without warning. Crew members and co-stars claimed he was difficult to work with, demanding special treatment and refusing to compromise on even the smallest details. His reputation became so problematic that some studios reportedly hesitated to hire him despite his undeniable talent. Beyond the workplace, Howard's personal life has been marked by troubling incidents. He has faced multiple allegations of domestic abuse from different partners over the years, which painted a disturbing picture of his behavior away from the cameras. Interviews with him often fueled the perception that he had a superiority complex, with bizarre statements about his personal philosophies and a tendency to come across as arrogant. At one point, Howard even admitted that his fiery personality and clashes with others cost him major roles in Hollywood. Instead of being remembered solely as a gifted actor with a unique presence, he became just as well known for his outbursts, scandals, and difficult nature. For many, Terrence Howard represents a case where immense talent was clouded by an attitude that alienated those around him. 8. Cuba Gooding Jr. Cuba Gooding Jr. went from Oscar glory in Jerry Maguire to a long, turbulent career marked by controversy and erratic behavior. At the height of his fame, Cuba was charming on screen, but off-screen stories painted him as someone whose ego quickly got the best of him. He was said to be arrogant with fans, dismissive toward colleagues, and constantly seeking attention in ways that rubbed people the wrong way. Instead of building on his Academy Award success, his career choices and personal behavior dragged him into a cycle of bad publicity. What truly damaged his reputation were the mounting accusations of misconduct. Over the years, Cuba faced multiple allegations of inappropriate behavior, ranging from harassment to assault, with several women coming forward. His antics in public settings, from drunken outbursts to bizarre confrontations, only added fuel to the fire. Even in court appearances, his casual and sometimes smug attitude shocked many observers who expected humility in such serious situations. Despite undeniable charisma and talent, Cuba Gooding Jr. became an example of how fame can twist into notoriety. Instead of being remembered for his groundbreaking win and early promise, his name became associated with arrogance, controversy, and self-destructive behavior that left fans deeply disappointed. 7. Monique made history with her Academy Award-winning performance in Precious, earning widespread praise for her raw talent. But just as quickly as she rose, her reputation took a hit because of her very public feuds and accusations of being difficult. Monique openly clashed with industry heavyweights like Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and Lee Daniels, claiming they blackballed her for refusing to play the game. While she insisted she was standing her ground against unfair treatment, many in Hollywood saw her as combative, arrogant, and unwilling to cooperate. Her fallout with the industry turned into years of heated interviews, lawsuits, and bitter exchanges that painted her as someone hard to work with. Instead of negotiating quietly or finding ways to rebuild bridges, she often went on the attack, calling out colleagues in ways that shocked audiences. Even her Netflix lawsuit, where she accused the company of discrimination, added fuel to her reputation as a relentless fighter, admirable to some, but off-putting to many. Monique's story became one of wasted opportunities. Her immense talent was undeniable, yet her constant battles overshadowed her artistry. For many, she became more known for her fiery personality and grudges than for the groundbreaking work that once put her on top. 6. Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence was one of the defining comedic voices of the 1990s, with a hit sitcom, blockbuster movies, and a stand-up career that kept audiences laughing. But behind the comedy, Martin developed a reputation for being extremely difficult and unpredictable. On the set of Martin, tensions became so high that his co-star, Tisha Campbell, accused him of harassment and walked away from the show at its peak. The feud made headlines and painted Lawrence as unprofessional and out of control, damaging the sitcom's legacy in the process. Outside of work, Martin's behavior raised eyebrows just as much. He was arrested multiple times for incidents that included erratic public outbursts, altercations, and even running into traffic while shouting wildly, later attributed to exhaustion and stress. His personal struggles often spilled into the public eye, leaving fans shocked by how much he had spiraled from the lovable comedian they admired. Though he eventually made a comeback with the Bad Boys films, Martin's reputation never fully recovered from his earlier controversies. What could have been a career defined by laughter and respect was instead clouded by reports of arrogance, harassment, and instability that left a lasting mark on his image. 5. Stacey Dash. Stacey Dash rose to fame as Dionne in the cult classic Clueless, charming audiences with her wit and style. But in real life, her reputation became one of the most polarizing in Hollywood. Known for her outspoken and often controversial political views, Dash alienated large parts of her fan base by delivering sharp, divisive commentary that left many stunned. Her time as a Fox News commentator only intensified the backlash, with critics accusing her of arrogance, insensitivity, and an eagerness to spark outrage. Beyond politics, Stacey also faced accusations of being difficult to work with. Former colleagues described her as self-centered and dismissive, creating tension on sets where teamwork was essential. Off-screen, she made headlines for family disputes and personal scandals, including legal troubles and highly publicized arrests, which further added to her troubled image. What made her fall from grace more striking was the sharp contrast between her sweet, beloved character on screen and the combative, unapologetic personality she displayed publicly. Instead of being remembered as a promising actress with enduring charm, Stacey Dash became a cautionary tale of how attitude, controversy, and stubbornness can overshadow talent and opportunity. 4. Columbus Short. Columbus Short gained fame for his role on the hit TV series Scandal, where he played the loyal and intense Harrison Wright. At first, fans loved his presence, and it seemed like he was destined for long-term success in Hollywood. But behind the scenes, Columbus's off-screen behavior quickly began to tarnish his rising star. Reports surfaced of violent outbursts, substance abuse, and reckless decision-making that made it impossible for him to maintain his career momentum. One of the biggest blows to his reputation came when he was accused of domestic violence on multiple occasions. The charges, combined with his unpredictable behavior, forced him off Scandal at the height of its popularity. Instead of capitalizing on his breakout role, he found himself entangled in court cases and public scandals that overshadowed his talent. His fights in clubs, confrontations with strangers, and constant run-ins with the law painted a picture of someone spiraling out of control. What could have been a career filled with opportunities turned into a cautionary tale. Columbus Short became known less for his acting abilities and more for his volatile personality and self-destructive choices, a reality that disappointed the fans who once rooted for his success. 3. Azealia Banks. Though primarily known as a musician, Azealia Banks has acted and made her presence felt in Hollywood, but almost always for the wrong reasons. Banks developed a reputation as one of the most controversial and combative figures in entertainment. Whether on social media or in interviews, she frequently lashed out at fellow celebrities, producers, and even entire communities, with harsh insults and inflammatory comments. Her fiery temper and refusal to back down from feuds made her a constant source of headlines, but not for positive reasons. Instead of being known for her artistry, she became synonymous with chaos and conflict. Colleagues often avoided working with her because of her combative nature, and she burned bridges faster than she built them. Her online rants, sometimes targeting industry power players, left many in shock and solidified her reputation as someone who thrived on negativity. Even when she attempted to pivot back into acting or music, her past behavior loomed large, making it difficult for fans or collaborators to take her seriously. Azealia Banks stands as an example of how unchecked anger and hostility can turn raw talent into wasted potential, overshadowed by drama at every turn. 2. Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne is a legendary actor with a career spanning decades, from Boys and the Hood to The Matrix. But despite his undeniable talent, stories of his off-screen behavior have sometimes painted him as intimidating and difficult. Known for having a fiery temper, Fishburne has clashed with directors and colleagues over creative differences, often insisting that his vision is the only one that matters. While some admired his passion, others described his attitude as arrogant and domineering, making collaboration nearly impossible at times. His reputation for being controlling was compounded by incidents where he allegedly belittled or dismissed co-stars. Reports circulated of him losing patience on set and creating an atmosphere of tension that left cast and crew walking on eggshells. Though Fishburne has never been embroiled in scandals on the level of some other actors, his intensity and ego often overshadowed his professionalism in the eyes of those who worked with him. Despite these criticisms, his talent has kept him relevant and respected in Hollywood. Yet the whispers about his demanding nature remain part of his story, serving as a reminder that even the most respected figures can struggle with maintaining balance between artistry and humility. 1. Kanye West. Though Kanye West is best known as a groundbreaking rapper, he has also acted and taken roles in film and television projects. Still, his name belongs at the top of this list because his reputation as one of the most controversial and difficult celebrities in modern entertainment history is undeniable. Kanye built a career on genius-level creativity, but also on behavior that shocked, divided, and often alienated people around him. His public outbursts are legendary, from storming stages at award shows to fiery social media rants that targeted friends, colleagues, and even family members. Behind the scenes, industry insiders described him as demanding, erratic, and nearly impossible to work with when his ego took over. His relationships with fellow artists, producers, and business partners often ended in feuds because he refused to compromise or accept criticism. While some fans defend his boldness as part of his artistry, many view his actions as evidence of arrogance and self-absorption taken to the extreme. His extraordinary talent could have made him a universally admired figure, but his relentless controversies and antagonistic behavior turned him into one of the most polarizing celebrities alive today. Kanye West's story is a reminder of how brilliance and ego can collide, creating a legacy equally defined by genius and chaos. And there you have it, 10 black actors who may have shined on screen but stirred up storms behind the scenes. Their talent was undeniable, but their off-screen behavior left scars that fans and colleagues couldn't forget. It makes you wonder, does greatness excuse bad behavior, or should how someone treats others matter just as much as the roles they play? If you found these stories eye-opening, don't just stop here. Hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more untold Hollywood truths you won't want to miss.